sun peeks over the horizon. Your excitement builds. The animals in the field start to stir. The forest comes alive with sounds. The sunlight glimmers off the lake, and the mountains start to shed their morning fog. So load up your favorite ammo, grab a few buddies, and head out to make some memories. And tell the rest of the world that you've gone hunting. Gone hunting is a 1 to 4 player game of family fun where you build a unique hunting ground, scout different animals, buy weapons and gear, and roll dice to hunt. Complete objectives and try not to miss. So let's load up the truck and back gone hunting today. See you in the field.
Hey guys, it's Big Sexy with Big Sexy Outdoors. If you guys want your bucks big and sexy like me, you guys gotta get yourself some of this product. Big Sexy by Domain. This stuff is rich in radish, material that will just grow your horns, keep your deer here, and make your hunting season fantastic. Get yourself some.
There you go. You better get yourself some. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that stuff's pretty neat. We planted some out in the wood line. We have a big strip out in the middle of the woods where the sun comes in. It requires 70% sun. And literally, we planted some and it was nothing. And I'm like, man, what's going on? Well, we didn't have rain in weeks, months. All of a sudden, it started pouring one night, and it's just, boom, this stuff is taking off. It's phenomenal. The deer are just destroying it. So it's a ton of – I'm excited for it.
So speaking of excited, before we get into it, this last week, Thursday, we were down there, Pine Grove Guns and Ammo with Patrick.
Yep.
And he was playing Gone Hunting with us. You know, we had a whole live stream there. And he sent me a couple messages. One, he needs 2 shirts from you, a large and an extra large.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, so he needs you to run them down to him or, give them to me and I'll get them to him, whatever. But he also said that he's doing this here with Just for Vets, and they apparently do an annual squirrel hunt, Chinese auction, and a vendor event on October 8th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So he wanted us to showcase it, show people. It's up here. I'm going to hit this copy right now and go into the old comments.
Well, Chris, you know us. If it comes to anything with vets, we're in.
I just shared it to all of our stuff, and so everybody can go out, sign up for it, and have fun with it. Of course, I know I want to kill a bunch of squirrels, but that's a whole different reason. Yep, Chinese auction, and he also wants us. Now, I don't know if I told you because I may be stoned, but he wants us to come in on October 8th to do a live show from the store for this event, or maybe it's just a live show from the event. Either way, he wants us to cover it.
Yeah, listen. That's for vets. We can hook it up. I'm sure we can hook up a time frame between hunting. Notice I said between hunting. I mean, I'm just saying, but
yeah. If we don't kill something this weekend, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But we can help the guy out. Definitely let him know. We'll help him out.
Absolutely. I just wanted to bring it up, let you know. And now, how are you, Vince?
How are you, Vance?
Good. How y'all doing?
Vance Bishop with Sportsman's Watch.
Yep.
I shortened it a little bit. I know it's a lot longer title, but I'm going to shorten it. So, guys, we're going to introduce him. Let him tell you a little bit about himself.
I'm Vance Bishop in Central Georgia, a little town called Sonoy. Born and raised in South Florida, in Miami, actually. Did all my hunting and fishing growing up in the Everglades, being that far south. And did a whole lot of hunting out west. For about 10 years, I was a pastor, missionary evangelist, pastor on an Indian reservation in South Dakota. And did a lot of big game hunting out there, buffalo, antelope, elk, mule deer, and about anything they had on the prairie out there, I was shooting it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, first, I have to interrupt you, but I didn't even know you were a pastor. So I think that is phenomenal.
I was. I'm not anymore. I was a self-supported pastor then as well. I drove truck and mechanicked and cowboyed and did anything I could to survive out there. But yeah, we did a lot of drug programs and pastored a small church on an Indian reservation up there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. So Vance, we start every one we start. We talked a little bit, but we start with a photo contest. We're gonna. We got you on here. We want you go into some detail on your page. We're gonna pull your page up. We're gonna let you kind of take the wheel. But before we do that, we're gonna go through these photos quick.
Okay.
And they're in no particular order. I just had a whole bunch of pictures. I just hit the Control A and opened them all at the same time. So you'll pick whichever one you like, and we'll make that one the cover photo contest. So we got this one. Hey, what is this one?
I just want to point out we stole Chris's phone. We actually stole his phone in the gun shop. He didn't know it was laying there. Me and my kids were taking selfies. I didn't even know they were on there.
Uh-huh. Yep. It's that face right there that gets me.
That's great. Nice brown shot there.
These are great.
Oh, yeah, I forgot there were more. They'll just keep popping up through the whole thing.
Oh, my Lord. What are you doing?
That's a great one right there.
That's what Kat just said. She likes this one.
Yeah. That's good, too. Really good. These are all good.
Yeah, sometimes it's not easy.
That's good, too. Yeah. Wow, that's a nice deer.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's a nice deer. Oh, that one's really cool.
I forgot. I told you they're going to just pop up at random.
I can't deal with them.
Oh, that's cool, too.
Yeah.
Man, this is tough. These are some great pictures.
That's why we don't pick.
Put that pressure on somebody else.
If we don't have a special guest and it's just us, honestly, we put a big thing out and let people vote. We don't pick. I don't want to be responsible.
That's the last one.
My favorite's still the same one.
Kat said her favorite is still that one.
That's your wife's favorite.
Yeah, that's what she just said.
Hey, she don't matter.
Well, I mean,
for me, it would be between that one and can you show me the first one again?
The very first picture?
Yeah. That one.
This one.
No, is that the first one? That one. It'd be between that one and the little guy with the big smile outside.
Okay.
That's tough.
It's up to you.
I like this one because it reminds me of a picture with my grandson. And the other one, the joy in that little guy's face. I think I got to go with that one.
All right, there you go. That's your winner.
Yep. He picked the
That's
one.
your winner.
Oh, hey, nice. Good job.
Chris's wife.
Now you know why I go away and mute it a lot.
But yeah, that's a cool picture, man. There's no taking that away. I love seeing a child smile in the woods. There's nothing better.
Yeah.
So that's the winner, Bandy Ford. I think you know Bandy Ford, don't you?
I don't.
He's a big covert ops guy.
He's one of the administrators on Tatiana. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I know who he is. I don't know him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that's his son.
Okay.
His son was little. His son was little the last time I seen him, but I know he's not little anymore.
Okay.
So I believe that's his son. So he's the winner of tonight's contest. And Vance, the cool part is you get to pick next week's contest then.
All right.
So before we end here tonight, you get to pick a title. It doesn't matter what it is. I could care less if we get 0 photos or 1,000. It's all up to you when you're ready.
All right.
So we're going to kind of turn the show over to you and let you tell everybody about your Facebook page. We have your Facebook page pulled up. Chris will share your link and stuff for them.
All right. Well, I actually have a couple of pages. Sportsman's Watch is a page where I share a lot of news of what's going on in the outdoor world, what's going on in the shooting industry, the hunting industry, fishing industry, kayaking, boating, just anything in the outdoors. And on Sunday mornings, I do something called the Sunday Sportsman, where I do a little devotional. It's nothing elaborate. I just try to have a little encouraging word on Sunday morning from the Bible. And I have some contributors. You'll see on the page up here, that's Tess Tally on the left there. That's Tiffany in the middle. And that is Faith on the right. And Tess is one of our hunting contributors. She talks a lot about her different hunts and adventures. Tiffany is our culinary. She does different recipes and stuff with wild game. And Faith keeps us posted on what's going on within the industry. She's an industry marketer and is very, very smart and very insightful on what's going on in the outdoor world and various aspects of the industry. And myself, I take all their information and put it on
there. So I just look at it straight. They do all the work.
But yeah. And they do all the work, and I hit send.
All right, that's cool. If they're in for it, man, that's all that matters.
No, we keep it light and easy. We don't. We're not professionals. We don't have huge followers. I don't have Michael Waddell and Jim Shockey in my back pocket to endorse anything. So we just have fun with it. When they can contribute stuff, they do. And we will do interviews from time to time. I did one with Tess Tally a few years ago that turned out great. And we're going to continue to do some more interviews with different people to just keep people posted on what's going on in the outdoors out there. Because as you know, in this crazy world we live in, with all the political mess going on, our Second Amendment rights are constantly under attack by politicians. And the hunting and conservation in general are constantly under attack. So we try to keep people in the loop of what's going on out there. I also have another page called the RAX Adventure Team. That's basically just a bunch of me and my buddies that have a good time.
That's big, sexy outdoors, brother. That's what that is.
There's I think there's 13 of us in like 9 different states. We're in Texas and Florida and South Dakota, North Dakota, Vermont, Indiana, here in Georgia. There's a bunch of us, and that's it. We just get together and have a good time. That's on our annual hog hunt in Florida at my buddy Chris's place. We jump on the buggy and we ride around and shoot hogs, and then we'll go back to the barn and barbecue something up and just have a good time. We share our adventures on there and different things that we are involved in and stuff like that. So RAX Adventure Team it just started as some buddies wanting to have a good time. We all have different resources, and I want to go to South Dakota and shoot some pheasants and antelope. I'm going in about 3 weeks because I got good buddies on the RAX Adventure Team up there. If they want to go hunting in Georgia, I bring them down here and take them out to my property or to Florida to shoot hogs. We just share each other's resources and put each other on good hunts and have a good time.
That's what it's all about. I mean, let's face facts. It's not about anything else but having a good time. The size of the horns don't matter. The amount of the birds you kill doesn't matter.
Not even a little bit.
Time with your family and friends. For me, that's what it's always been about.
We called it the RAX Adventure Team because, like anybody else, we're after the big racks. If Big Boy steps out, he's coming home, going in the frying pan and going on the wall. But it's mostly about the adventure for us. Just having a good time. It's getting to that point of the hunt. And we have so much fun just sitting around the fire, exchanging hunting stories and gun stories and everything else, that it's all about the adventure for us. And I don't care if we're shooting squirrels or we're shooting buffalo. It's the adventure.
Yeah, that's kind of how we are. That's how our team is. We have a team of 6, and we don't care. We have one guy in there who he's a very avid hunter, but he doesn't do a whole lot of killing and do his stuff. But we don't care. He is so phenomenal at being a team member.
Yeah.
And fun.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the group that none of that matters to us. We don't care. I'd like 100 people being big, sexy outdoors. If it means they're swapping stories and sharing their stuff,
enjoying the outdoors. We got a couple guys on here that probably haven't killed anything in a few years, but we don't care. They absolutely love being outdoors. They love being at the fire with us. They love being hitting the water and going fishing. We don't care as long as you love being outdoors. I don't care if you're killing 12 animals over in South Africa and hanging them in your trophy room, or you're not killing anything. You're just enjoying the fire.
Speaking of enjoying the fire, what do I got to do to shoot that?
What am I looking at here? Oh, that's Guns in the 701. That's another show that my buddies up there in the Dakotas started. We got some access to some firepower. We absolutely do.
I saw the flamethrowers. I was looking at.
I think that's the 20 millimeter. I'm not positive. I have to ask Buck, JD, or Clay. But we have some access to some firepower. That is for sure. We've had a lot of fun with it too.
Yeah.
I had my youngest son went off to the Army when we were living in South Dakota, and he said, "Pop, I'd like maybe before I go get the guys together and have a cookout and bring out some of the guns." Well, when he said some of the guns, they brought out some of the guns, and we had 50 calibers and Lapua 338s. We have multiple 50 calibers, blowing up all kinds of stuff. He had a blast before he went off to the Army. He was a bit shocked at the firepower that showed up.
That's awesome. I mean, that's what it's about. I can't stress enough. I tell everybody that. It's not about, we go catch 45-pound flatheads all day. I mean, all day. It's great, but it's not about the 45-pound flatheads. It's not. It's about fish on and everybody laughing and having a good time. That's
the stories afterwards.
That's it. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Cutthroat Angler says, "Are we ready for the first day?" When did your first day start?
What's that?
First day of archery.
Archery was September. I don't hunt archery here because it's too hot, muggy, and my property has a river on it, and mosquitoes are crazy, so I don't hunt archery here. But I think it was September 15th. I'm not positive on that date, but it was mid-September it started.
We start Saturday.
Okay. So
now I'm going to ask you something out of the ordinary, and I am promoting somebody else because that's what I do.
Do it.
I help anybody. Covert Ops. Have you tried their bug spray in that swamp of yours?
Man.
Here it comes.
You know what?
Here it comes.
All the bug spray is in my Jeep. But Covert Ops is never far from me. Yes, I have tried it in their swamps, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I'll put a legal note right out there, right out from the beginning.
I'll feel your pain. Look at
it. Their bug spray, Tatiana's bug spray, is what got me hooked on Covert Ops. I was working a piece of property, getting it ready for season, and I got chigger bit bad. I don't know what y'all call them up north, but down here, chiggers, they might be called no-see-ums up there. I don't know. They're little tiny demons that dig into your skin.
Yeah, the real little ones.
Well, the following week, I sprayed the bug deterrent from Covert Ops all over the inside of my jeans, all over my legs, and just coated myself in that stuff. Went out to the same piece of property, working the same area. I didn't get bug bit once, and my buddies I was working with got tore up. It sold me. So I started using that stuff. And, we're here in Georgia, and I've used it in the swamps of Florida too, hunting hogs, where the eagle-sized mosquitoes. And this stuff works phenomenally. That's what sold me. So I said, you know what? I need to try everything else. And I have tried their soaps. I've tried their scent covers. I've tried it all. And I'm on pro staff there, but Tatiana could call me right now and say, you know what? We don't like you no more. We don't want you on our pro staff. I'd still buy their products. It's that good.
I tell you, they had me, I don't know if you watched, we were live last Monday, and they had me putting all different scents in my hands and going around smelling it. I will tell you that I don't have bugs in my house, but the smell of that was phenomenal. I was already hooked by that.
Yeah.
And since then, I have used it.
Yeah.
I used it up in the woods twice now this week. And I was like, man, this is awesome. I mean,
It really is. It really is.
I don't even think I had a spider jump on me walking through the woods, honestly. Like, how you get the webs, and I just It's just a feeling. Like I was like, man, I felt like clean the whole way. I'm like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, them spider webs where you become a ninja.
Yeah, yeah. My, we're jerks. Me and Chris set my kid first. So my 13-year-old daughter is walking through the woods, and you can hear her go. It was so funny.
Yeah, covert ops. I'm not one of those jump on pro staff guys where you turn on some people's pages and there's 47 different pro staff. I'm not that guy. If I'm promoting it, it's because I use it and believe in it. I wholeheartedly believe in that product. And being pro staff, Tatiana gives us discount and stuff like that. I don't even put in a discount code because I believe wholeheartedly in this product. And when I buy my products from them, I just want to support that business. I want to see that business grow. I want to see Tatiana and Covert Ops just explode. So, like I said, she could call me right now and say, hey, don't like you, dude. You're off the team. I'd still buy the product. It's that good.
One of the cool things with that is, not to get off subject, is we actually made 2 cards in our game with Covert Ops on.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah, we did that. We thought that'd be cool, but
yeah.
I'll have to see if Chris can dig out 2 pictures for you. They're pretty cool. They're pretty neat looking.
And Tatiana has worked so hard at what she's done there, and she's just such a great person. She says she's down to earth and so easy to get along and talk to, and just a nice person. And she's the type of person you want to see her business succeed, and not just because of the person, but because of the person and the product. It is phenomenal.
Yeah, I have to agree. We had her on. I said to my Chris, of course, I said, "Now there's a card right there's one of the cards right there."
All right.
So I said to Chris, one of the things was, of course, when you see somebody get on, my first impression was, man, she's beautiful. Then she talked, and I was like, man, that woman knows what she's doing. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, how guys are. We all take our first impression. I'm a straightforward person. I don't lie about nothing.
Yeah.
And my first thing was like, man, she's a really pretty lady. And then all of a sudden she started talking. I was like, man, she's beyond that. Like, she is, you could just tell she cared about what she was doing. It meant the world to her. Her customers meant the world to her.
Yeah.
And I am so grateful that I know Bandy Ford from years ago and happened to recontact with him. And I'm super, there goes one of my kids. Super ecstatic that, I've started talking to them and getting more involved. I'm going to promote Covert Ops from here on in. So I'm super excited. We agree on something there.
Yeah. And they're not far from me. I'm here in western part of Georgia, and they're just over in Alabama. And we've talked about Tatiana and I hunting together and putting on a hunt and stuff and doing an interview at the hunt. And we just haven't been able to line up our calendars. Life gets in the way of the important things like hunting.
Yeah. Yeah. That stinks,
I know. Work and responsibilities and all that irrelevant stuff.
So do you have any more pages you run?
No, just my personal page, RAX and Sportsmans Watch are the only ones I'm running. I used to run, I'm a huge country music fan.
Yeah. We are going to get along.
And I had one called, we call it country, because I'm not a big fan of a lot of this new stuff. So I posted a lot of Whalen and Haggard and Jones. And
Lord, we are going to get along.
And some of the new stuff I do like is like Cody Jenks, Sturgill Simpson, Ward Davis, Charlie Crockett, Jamie Johnson. But you can only put so much time into these gadgets. So I had to put some priorities in order, and hunting is my passion. So I got rid of some of those pages that were just taking up time, and spend my time on RAX and Sportsman's Watch. And you can got to a point with RAX Adventure Team. We had some possibilities at TV shows and things like that, and we had some sponsors and people saying, we'd like to talk to you guys about different things, but it started getting to a point where it was a business. And when it's, you have to wear this and you have to do that, and you have to do this, they were wanting us to take down pictures because it didn't have their product in it. And it took all the joy out of something we're very passionate about. So we decided, let's just make it us. Let's just have fun. We'll post what we want, when we want, no deadlines, no sponsor challenges and all this kind of stuff. We just do what we want to. And now we enjoy it again.
That's what it's all about. When you take the fun, I hate editing videos. So I have footage now on my computer. I could probably turn out 3 videos right now editing. And I hate it so bad that I just let it sit there because I hate it. I love doing it. I like, cutting a clip is easy. You can cut a 10, 15 second, 30-second clip. That's no big deal.
Yeah.
Putting together a 25-minute or a 15-minute section, that's a big deal because it's got to be cut, moved, and transferred. And I won't lie to you, Chris being the tech guy, with games going, and he released a new comic book. So it's tough for him to do the editing, but so he hears me, he's going to do a lot more. Because I'm struggling with it. I hate it. It takes him one day to do what I do in 3 weeks.
I'm the type of guy, I like the end product. I don't like the process of the editing and the end product. I'm all about, hey, post that. But the process, I have a son that's very techie. My youngest boy, we both work in the film industry. And he's down on a show in Savannah now, or I'd have him on here with us. But he's very techie. He's very into the editing and the creative process and all that. There's a interview on Sportsman's Watch of me and Tess, and he did the editing on that on his phone, and it just blew me away. You did that on your phone? These graphics and stuff he brought in, I was like, wow. But I just don't have that kind of creativity or talent.
Well, I'll tell you, that's how I feel about Chris. Chris is, my God, he's so talented with a computer. I've never, like this board game we're launching. He does. Chris is big into like the horror and the X-Men and those things, and he loves to hunt and do those things. But he also has a passion for that. And one time I was sitting down checking his games and stuff out, and I was like, "Man, you ever think of making a hunting game? I think you and I could make this work." And we threw ideas out. We went back and forth, and a year and a half later, we finally just released it to Kickstarter last week. And I'm super stoked. Don't seem like the world's too stoked, but I want you to know I'm stoked. I think this thing's awesome. So we're not going to quit trying. We're going to get this out there one way or another.
Well, that's cool. And keep me posted on that and let me put it on Sportsman's Watch and RAX. We'll definitely push it.
Oh, man, I'd appreciate that. That would really be great. That would really be great. I appreciate that.
And you're out in Pennsylvania, right?
Yep. We're from Pennsylvania. Right. We live in a small county. It's one of the smaller ones. Chris is in Schuylkill County, and I'm in Northumberland. My county's bigger than Chris's. We produce a lot of does out here, and we have some pretty big bucks coming up with the new point system. So they eliminated small bucks, 3 on one side. It's got to be. Once they started that, whole world out here in PA, they were against it. Everybody was, if you were at a rally, they were burning their shirts and hats. Right. But now that they're seeing the buck being produced out of Pennsylvania, I think that most of them have a different outlook.
And you guys got good bear up there, right?
Yes, I have one on camera faithfully every week. I'm hoping to kill this year. I don't even bear hunt because I have an infatuation with bear. I love to see them. I think they're the neatest thing in the woods to even look at. I would pass up on a deer to watch a bear. Like, that's just my infatuation.
I'd shoot it in a second. I've never shot one. It's on my bucket list. I'm trying to
that's where I'm at. I put it on my bucket list, and I actually put a stand-up Saturday evening. Chris and I put a stand-up on the trail that walks in every week. So I'm hoping when that special season comes in with a bow, I can take him down. That's good. That's a goal this year. So stay tuned for some footage. Hoping we at least get some footage of him if we don't get him down.
Yeah. I've been blessed to be able to hunt. I grew up in Florida. I've hunted alligator and hogs, whitetail, mule deer, buffalo, antelope, elk, all kinds of stuff. But have not got on a bear yet. Bear is on my bucket list. high.
Never gone to Canada? Never took a trip to Canada to shoot bear?
I haven't. We had a girl. There's a girl up there, Amanda Mayhew. She has a show called Just Hunt. We hosted her in Florida once, took her on a hog hunt, and she has some phenomenal moose and bear hunting up there. So I've got friends up there that I could get. That's a long ways up there. And now with all this COVID protocol and stuff, makes things a little harder. And we have a bear season here in Georgia. I just have not been able to make the connection to the right places to get out and go. We've got bear here, but they're not very big. From what I understand, they're somewhat plentiful. I've only been here about 5 years now from South Dakota. And come hunting season, I'm usually running around Florida and Dakotas and Texas and North Carolina and running around doing different hunts and stuff. I need to settle down and do some hunting here in Georgia.
So in your area, can you bait in that area?
Yes.
Oh man, there you go. Just go get some Dunkin' Donuts.
Now I'm not sure on the bear hunts.
If I lived close, you'd probably shoot me if you put some Dunkin' Donuts out. I got a lot.
I'm not sure on the bear hunts. I haven't checked into the legalities of that enough because I haven't ventured into it as much as I would like to. But deer, we're allowed to bait deer, put up feeders and hunt on feeders and stuff now. As of, I think it was about 4 years ago they passed that. But I'm pretty sure you can on private land for bear too.
So I got a question for you, avid hunter. Sounds like you hunt all over. Mm-hmm. What's your theory on this baiting? I know in PA we can't, and everybody's baiting makes it easy. That's cheating. What's your theory on it, honestly?
I guess that would depend on somebody's definition of what a true hunter is. I had somebody tell me one time, we were looking at some of my rifles, and he said it was a 270 Weatherby with a loophole scope on it. Well, Davy Crockett used a flintlock, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, if Davy Crockett had this, he'd have used it.
Yep, agreed.
Things evolve, techniques evolved, and how we do things have evolved. No, our ancestors and forefathers did not have 30-06s with high power scopes on them. But I bet if they were around now, they wish they'd have had them back then. Compound bows with 80-pound draw that shoot 100 yards, they didn't have that. Crossbows, they didn't have that. So I guess it's just it's one of those things that to each their own. I don't have a problem baiting, here in the South and probably up there too. We have thick woods. And spot and stalk is just you'll never shoot anything if you try to spot and stalk something in these thick woods. When we go up to the Dakotas, when I go out there and hunt with my buddies up there, it's spot and stalk. We find them, we'll see a herd or we'll see a deer, and we will make a plan to try to get close enough to get a good shot on that game. But here in the South, we're going to bait and we're going to sit in a tree. But people say there's no challenge in it. But you have to pattern them. You have to figure out where those deer are going and figure out what they're eating, when they're eating. Last year, I didn't shoot nothing on my property out here because they weren't coming out in the daytime. And I had 3 feeders up on my little piece of property. So there's still challenge involved. And me personally, even though I was born and raised in the South and hunting Southern style, I love spot and stalk more than anything. I love getting out there and going after them. So it's just different techniques. It's just to each their own. If people are against baiting and hunting over it, then don't do it.
Yeah, I've never had the opportunity to bait. Of course, I try to stay in PA, and I try to go after some pretty big ones in PA. I used to have where's Chris's beautiful face? Somebody just commented. So I used to have a beautiful piece of property, 65 acres I leased. And I produced the buck that were there let's just say my first 7 years, I was very picky with what I shot because the buck that came out were back to back trying to figure out which one was So you didn't always get them in range or where you wanted them, but seeing them all the time made you just hold off, hoping that you were getting. And I got older, and my daughter hunts. My other daughter hunted a little bit. Well, then I started shooting bucks that weren't as big because I thought, well, I got to kill a deer. I can spend my time with them, sitting with them and working with them. I'll get my deer done and out. So I started shooting basket 5s and basket 6s. And I won't lie to you, I don't eat the horn, so I don't care. To me, it was more getting my kid their first deer and, accomplishing. If they shot, my daughter shot one with a rifle last year, first buck, and she's probably had 15 buck in front of her. This is a God's honest truth. 15 buck in front of her since she's 8, and she has yet to pull a trigger or shoot. And I'm in the tree crying. I mean, we got these buck coming in like this, and I'm crying because she ain't shooting. I don't have a weapon because she's a youth hunter. Her very first opportunity hunting, we had a 5-pointer, I believe it was. Pretty nice 5. It was just a 5, but it was pretty decent. For a first buck, it would have been great.
Yeah.
Put his face in the blind. His whole nose was in the blind, smelling us. He's there. She starts screaming and crying. And off it goes. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, help us. This is perfect. Everything about this was perfect. But you know what? I wouldn't trade them stories. We keep going back to the stories. And I wouldn't trade those stories for the world.
No. That's what it's all about, man. Those memories with the family, memories with first-time hunters. It's got to hold on to that. Got to make more memories every chance you get.
I'm big on taking kids out. I love that.
Basket rack and smaller animals, that's another controversy that a lot of people like to get into. Oh, let them grow another year. That was a small buck. I couldn't tell you the difference between a 180 class deer and a 100 class deer when it's in my frying pan. I couldn't tell you the difference.
That's kind of how I feel. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's where I'm at now. As I'm older, I'm that way because my work schedule's terrible. My kids hunt. It's just different. It's funny how when you get older, you start, I don't want to say caring less. Like I still don't want to kill an illegal buck or anything stupid.
Right.
But I just, if I have an 8-pointer at 30 yards this wide, or if I got a 6-pointer this wide at 10 yards, I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm taking a 10-yarder. I don't care.
Yeah.
I want the kill. I don't want to cripple one. I don't want to. I'm more about the ethical side of doing it right.
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of guys aren't that way. A lot of guys will shoot 300 feet with a bow.
I guess as I've gotten older too, I want to know when I pull the trigger on whatever I'm shooting that I'm gonna drop them. I don't want to wound them. I don't want to send them off and not be able to find them and they're bleeding and things like that. I try to be a little more ethical. And know that when I pull the trigger, I'm gonna take it home. But I'm not a big guy on. It's got to be a giant buck. I want the giant buck. I mean, like any guy, I want to hang another one on the wall. But if it's a little guy like that one there, tastes just as good.
That's perfect. That's perfect. You see that?
Yeah,
that's perfect. I'm sorry. I love that.
Yeah, I saw this recently. Like that's excellent. And dead on. I
mean, that's really all that matters. I see all these kids killing deer, these first-time hunters and second-time hunters. Man, I don't know. I guess as I get older, I could care less. I trade mine any day for somebody else,
Yeah.
My dad's up there. My dad is so speaking of a pastor, my mom and dad are pastors.
Okay.
So my dad gets on our Facebook page every Wednesday. He tries. My dad's been pretty sick lately. He gets on like every Wednesday and tries to give a little bit of a sermon, a little pick-me-up message. So it's funny when you said that. It really made me think of what we do.
Yeah.
And somebody said to me, "Why do you do that?" And I was like, "Why not?
No.
You believe in God? Because I do.
No.
That's why. You know what I mean?"
Yeah. And I worked in ministry, self-supported, for over 25 years. And I came from a very rough past. I was very involved in drugs and alcohol growing up. I was a teenage alcoholic and spent more time than I'd like to admit in and out of jail, and facing 13 years in prison for attempted murder for over a real bad bar fight. I gave my heart to the Lord while I was in that jail. I grew up with my dad, who was kind of rough in his younger years. He got saved and spent many years in ministry, and I knew him, and my parents were praying for me, and my grandma was praying for me, and knew the life I was living. And November 19th, 1992, in a jail cell, I gave my heart to the Lord and never looked back. And a couple years later, got married, and 3 kids, 4 grandkids, and 30 years later, I'm a blessed man.
Sounds like a winning story to me.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you, a lot of people don't come back from that. And
no, we spent a lot of years. I feel like God's taken me full circle, so to speak, because I've done a lot of ministry to teenage alcoholics and drug addicts and people with some rough lives, and been able to speak because I come from that. It's like God was able to put me in their path because I had been there before.
So I got another question for you. So in our very first episode ever of Big Sexy Outdoors live shows, our episode was God and hunting. Hold on one second. I just bumped my microphone to shut off. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, all good.
So our very first episode was God and hunting. And what we asked in that episode was, do you feel the Lord affects your hunt? Do you feel having him in your life and in your presence while in that woods, do you feel a better sense of what you're doing? Do you feel that he has blessed you because of it? How do you think he affects what you do, hunting and in life?
Well, a lot of people will say I feel closer to God when I'm in the outdoors, and I honestly do.
Amen.
Because
Amen.
You're there by yourself in the midst of his creation. You're after what he's provided us for food. So yeah, I absolutely do. And I keep a little pocket Bible or a Bible gateway on my app on my phone. So when I'm in those early morning hours before the sun comes up, I'm getting devotion, I'm praying, I'm getting in that presence of God, so to speak. Does he let the big boy walk out in front of me? I ain't experienced that yet. He'll make you work for it. He'll make you appreciate them small ones because they all taste the same. But does he affect the hunt? I think my relationship with God allows me to enjoy it more because I appreciate the creation that he's blessed us with. I appreciate being in his creation and enjoying taking game and enjoying the fruits of our labor. So I do believe it affects how I see hunting and conservation and living off the land to an extent.
I always say without him, none of this is possible.
Absolutely. None of it. I mean, he created it, and he created the earth and the game for us to enjoy. And I've been attacked many times on our pages, death threats from all over the world regularly. Because of my friendship with Tess and Andrew, I get a lot of death threats because of that. And people attacking me. Well, you're a Christian and you're killing animals. The Bible says thou shalt not kill. The Bible says that God provided those animals for us, and the man bears rights over all animals, and they were provided for us to eat. So thou shalt not kill is thou shalt not kill your brother. Thou shalt not kill human beings.
Yep.
So,
you're right. You're 100%.
Yeah, I've been attacked quite a bit over that. And the last guy that attacked me saying he was going to come to my house and kill me, I gave him my address.
Yeah. We have a lot in common, I want you to know. Hold on, I'm the same way. I'm the same guy. I'm like, you know what? Here I am. Come meet me. I'm right here.
But if you can breach my property without catching one, you got me. But pretty sure you'll catch one first.
Yeah, I'll tell you. People, I feel like because you're a Christian, you get attacked a lot easier.
Yeah. People think if you're a Christian, you're supposed to be some sort of passive pushover. And that's just, being a little transparent, that whole turn the other cheek thing, I've always had an issue with. I've always had a hard time with that. Do I believe it? Yes, absolutely. Have I always lived it perfectly? No.
Well, let's not forget that God says we're human.
That's right. All have fallen short of the glory of God. We're all sinners saved by grace.
You know, so let's not forget that we're not perfect. He never made us perfect. He gave us I like to say he gave us the gift of choice.
That's right.
Free will. That's what makes you and me. And that's a big deal. You know, one of my favorite quote, I'm going to call it a Bible. I'm not going to call the verse. I'm going to call it a quote because I know I use it all the time. I tell my kids this, and that is, through Christ, all things are possible.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
And my daughter has her bracelet. She's like going like this. Look, because I'm big.
All things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13.
Amen. I mean, I just love that you're an avid outdoorsman. You have a lot of the same. It's funny that we talk, and the reason we do these shows this way is I don't want to know anything about you. If I know about you, I kind of, it's not a conversation then for people to hear. It's
right.
So that's why you didn't hear a whole lot from me. It's not because because I know if we talked, I'd want to know more.
Yeah.
And I
there wouldn't be much to talk about when we got here.
Right. Well, I mean, we'd have stuff to talk about, but it would be more a stage conversation. I don't want it to be a stage conversation. I want people to learn and meet you like I'm learning to meet you.
Yeah, yeah. I do similar when we do our interviews. We call our interviews on the front porch because we set them up to where it's a couple of buddies sitting on the front porch talking. Just no pre-scripted. Just now, I'll tell them, hey, you know, if you want me to lead into something or if you want to promote something, I'll give a little something so that we can have a little guideline. But I want it to be set up as just a couple of buddies talking hunting and talking outdoors on the front porch. And that's how we set it up. No pre-interview script or anything like that.
Yeah, and I think it's real. I like using the word real for that. It's real.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you're sitting there just talking, having a conversation, being honest. In depth, heartfelt talk. You didn't have to say you had a terrible past. You have to say none of those things.
Yeah.
But you explained who you were, and that honestly, to me, I think it makes you a way better person. You came from the depths of darkness, and you have risen to the light. I mean,
God's brought me through a lot of stuff, and I don't mind giving him the glory for where he's brought me from. I had great parents that loved me. I'm not one of those guys that I was abused and I was neglected and all that kind of, I made stupid choices that led me down a bad path.
Amen. And, we've all done that.
Yeah. And God brought me out of that and blessed me abundantly. And for the last 30 years, I've served him and been married 28 plus years now, 3 great kids, 4 grandkids, and live a very happy, blessed life. And all glory to God. And he's blessed me with places to hunt, man. I've shot buffalo. I've shot elk, stuff that guys like me, you wouldn't think would normally get the opportunity to do that kind of stuff. But I shot a buffalo, and I'll tie this into a little bit of a pastoral story. I was hosting a bunch of teams. We were where we pastored at was the second poorest county in the United States, and we had teams come in every summer and help us work on houses and do sidewalk Sunday schools and church services and stuff. And we were getting ready to leave South Dakota, and we had our teams coming in there for the last time. And a good friend of mine, one of my best friends, Waylon, up there in the Dakotas, he said, hey, he's a game warden. He said, hey, I've got a buffalo that needs to be put down. I really want you to shoot a buffalo before you move. I'm sitting on my couch studying for a sermon that night because all these church teams are in town and I've got to put a sermon together. And he says, this has got to go down today. I said, man, I'm preaching in 3 hours. He said, well, it's a sick one, so it's not like you have to dress it and everything. You just have to shoot it. We'll get some pictures and things like that. You just got to put it down for me. I said, all right, I'll be there in a few minutes. So I run to his place. We go out and spend a couple hours finally get on this thing because I had to hunt it. We had to find it. We had to make sure it was the right one because it was in the tribal herd. So I hunt it down finally. I'm thinking I'm not going to get a shot on this thing because we just couldn't find it because there's a bunch of them out there, and I just had to narrow this one down. Finally get the shot on it. Get the shot. Kill it. I'm bleeding because I'm going through barbed wire fences and stuff to get through this thing. And finally got to him, got him shot, got pictures of it, and I shot him headshot. And I had blood from all over me. When I get back to my house and there's these preachers and these other people from these churches at my house, and I walk in and literally just look like I'm just soaked in blood. And one of them says, brother, is this something we need to know? I said, oh, he says, I know about your past now. If you need to talk to me. I said, actually, the less you know, the better. And he started laughing. He goes, wait a minute, man, that ain't real funny. I started laughing. I said, I just went on a buffalo hunt, man. So 3 hours I was supposed to be preaching, and thankfully I'd already got most of my sermon together. I was just brushing up. So I had to go. I went out and shot a buffalo 3 hours before my last sermon in South Dakota and covered in blood, get back, and I got a house full of preachers wondering, what's this guy doing? Why are you really leaving South Dakota?
Running for the border, right?
But that was a fun hunt. People say, "Oh, it's a fenced hunt and it was a canned hunt and all that stuff." Man, I had to, that was a funner hunt and took more doing than a lot of wild game hunts because it was a big herd on thousands of acres and had to narrow them down and had to make sure I was shooting the right one that they wanted to take out of the herd. So it was a fun hunt.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. We're usually on about an hour. We're about 52. I'm trying to read. I took my glasses off. I had a bad glare. So I think it's 52:30. And I'm not going to let you leave yet. I'm going to ask you what your favorite hunting story is. So I see your Facebook page. I see all your buddies. I love it. I love the camaraderie you guys share after watching it and checking it out. And with the ladies, your page with the ladies is just phenomenal. That I love that you have so many people that care about what you do, and you seem to inspire them, and they seem to inspire you. So tell me, what's your favorite hunt? Even if it isn't your own hunt, what's your favorite hunt?
Man, that's a tough question, man. I've been so blessed with so many good friends in the hunting industry, and just those guys up in there in Dakotas, Waylon and Clay. Those guys are, you have a bond with people that become like family, and those guys really are like brothers to me. And Waylon put me on some of my first. He put me on my buffalo. He put me on antelope. He put me on my first mule deer. But I think one of my favorite hunts that I can think of, man, that's tough. That is tough.
I knew it wouldn't be easy. I won't lie to you. I knew it wouldn't be easy.
Both of them revolve around my buddy Clay because I got him on his first hog hunt in Florida. When I was living in the Dakotas, all my buddies said, we want to go shoot hogs. I grew up shooting them smelly little critters. To me, I was like, why are you going to shoot a hog, man? They stink. They're nasty. They don't even taste good. And they were like, well, we never shot them. And way up there in the Dakotas, that's unique to them. So we did what we called our mancation. And 4 of us loaded up in a truck and drove from South Dakota to South Florida, 2-day drive. And we had a blast. Just 4 guys goofing off in the truck and drove straight through, taking turns. 32 hours, I think it was. And we got down there and nobody was seeing hogs. And I wasn't hunting them. I was just getting my boys set up because I had shot them things my whole life. Didn't care if I killed one. I wanted my boys to get on them. So me and my buddy Chris that owns the ranch that we were hunting on said, let's get the boys set up and we'll go get in town and get some barbecue. I said, okay. We're just pulling out of the ranch and Clay calls me and says, hey, I got one on the ground. What do you want me to do? I said, what is it? He says, it's the boar hog. I said, well, snip it and let it sit there and climb back up in the tower and shoot some more. He says, okay, well, we're on our way into town. It's about a 15, 20-minute drive. And he texts me and says, I got another one. Okay. Well, hogs, just keep shooting them. Well, finally, he's got 4 hogs on the ground. This guy's never shot a hog. He's excited as can be. Everybody's down there to shoot hogs, and he has shot 4 hogs, and he's just all kinds of excited. He's thinking he's Chris Kyle sniping out the enemy or something.
Chris Kyle.
He had a blast. And being able to take people on their first is such a thrill to me. Putting people on their first hogs, their first deer, first fish, whatever it is absolutely a thrill to me. And that's one of my favorites, was taking Clay down there to Florida and him getting on his first hogs. And my buddy Waylon, I wasn't on the hunt, but through that connection where he met friends of mine in Florida, he went back and he got his first hogs. So putting people on their firsts, that's always been fun to me. But one that stands out for me personally, where I got to kill one, was with Clay. My last deer season in South Dakota, as a resident, me and Clay went out real early. We're scouting around. We're seeing a lot of deer, but nothing that we wanted to shoot. And because I'm looking for something sizable, something mature at least. I didn't care if it was huge, but I wanted something mature. And finally, Clay's glassing out the truck, and he says, man, that thing looks wide, about 1,000 yards out, way out. I'm glassing it. So, boy, that thing looks wide. So Clay says, we need to get on that. That's a buck you need to shoot. So Clay knows the land real well. He was born and raised right around that area. He says, I'm going to take you and put you over here. And we made a plan and hashed out a plan. And he says, I'm going to drop you at the tracks, and you sneak up this way and go over this berm and get set up over there. So he told me step by step what I needed to do. I got on it and got to where I was at a decent spot, and I saw him lay down. I got down on my sticks, and there was a bunch of does standing there, but I seen him just lay down. I know he's right there. So I set my scope up on those does to get myself comfortable with a shot. And I knew if he stood up, I'm right here on him. I can get him. And I sat there about 20 minutes. Clay, I see, is driven all the way around and way off in the distance again, but I can see him watching me. And finally, that buck stands up, and he wasn't up for a split second before I pulled the trigger and dropped him. He just dropped in his tracks. But with the blast and everything in this high brush, and all these deers jumped up and took off, I wasn't even sure I hit him. And I seen Clay take off, and I'm like, I missed him. He's going to go see if he can get him. And he wasn't. He come back around to me, and he says, you dropped him, man. He's sitting right over there. So it was just a fun hunt. It was a really fun hunt. At least those are the legal ones I'll tell you about. Told you I got a rough past that doesn't always involve drinking.
Yeah, I want you to know we all live that past. We all have demons, man. That's just the way life works. Yeah, but the fact that you can tell you lived past years, that's a good story.
I've got a ton of great memories, man. But putting people on their first wins and some of those first hunts for me with Waylon and Clay up there in the Dakotas and all my boys up there, those are just memories that will last. I've got pictures and deer on the wall and stuff like that. It just that's just stuff that's if I didn't have pictures and I didn't have the deer hanging on the wall, I got the memories, and that's more important than anything.
Yeah, I'm a big in the first kind of guy. I got Chris his first deer years ago when he wasn't sure if he was going to go and like it. Heck, I even talked him into using a climber tree stand. I thought he peed twice going up. But he ended up shooting his first deer. And you know what? Truth be, the biggest buck I ever shot is because of that day. So Chris, I just thought of this. So Chris shot a doe, and he's like, yo, I got one. What do I do? I said, dude, just stay. Just relax. Like, it's only 7:30 in the morning. Don't move. I said, just don't shoot a doe, and you'll be fine, Next thing you know, Chris gets down. Well, when Chris gets down, 250 yards out, all I see is rack going through the woods. So I'm in my loggy bayou about 30 feet in the air. I put the stock against the tree so I knew I'd get steady. And I let one rip. Woo! And all of a sudden I see the deer keep running. So I put it against again. Boom! All of a sudden the deer turns. Runs a straight line to me. Straight to me. I'm like, oh my God, here he comes. Like, I don't know what happened, but here he comes. He hit 60 yards. I put the rifle up right on the white spot of his neck. Figured I couldn't go wrong if I hit him there coming at me. I just couldn't go wrong at the angle I had. There's no way. I got news for you. I went wrong. I missed. 60 yards, I missed. The excitement took over. I've killed 1 million deer, and this is the biggest buck I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I missed. So this buck goes down in the ground, but I didn't know I missed. I call my dad, tell him I just shot the biggest buck of my life. You're never going to believe this. I happen to look to the right, and my buck's sneaking off. I never hit him. He's sneaking through the brush, like laying down, going through the brush. I never hit him. I was like, are you kidding me? So I took a deep breath, and I said, Jesus, you can't let this buck go by, please. Please, God, you got to let me calm down enough to hit this thing. And I put the stock against, about 60 yards. He was just sneaking through side. I turned over and boom. And I watched all 4 legs go. Woof. I tell you what, I about jumped out the tree stand at 30 feet. I didn't even have a harness on. I almost fell out. I was at it. And I got down, I shot this 8-point, and his G2s were like this.
Oh, wow.
He was 22.5 inches wide. He was, oh my God, I was so excited. And the best part of that story is I shot the biggest buck of my life that archery season at 12 yards and lost it.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what happened. I hit him exactly where I was aiming. It was the first year I used a wasp broadhead. You couldn't, if you told me you were sending me a year's supply of wasp broadheads, I'd tell you to keep them. I don't mean that mean. Like, that's just my experience with them. It could have been anything flaws. Your computer flaws, anything flaws. But that was enough for me to never want to shoot another one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I never shot another one. As a matter of fact, I gave 2 packs away after that. I was like, never again. So it made it cool because not only did I share the experience with Chris, shot the biggest buck of my life after the worst season of my life. So it was first is always good. I watched my daughter shoot her first. I've called turkeys in for my oldest daughter. I called one in for her, a turkey one time. We set up, we drove 3 miles back in a 4-wheeler, set up on a knob. Here comes this gobbler strutting. He's 60, 50, 40. And I'm like, shoot him, man. There he is. Shoot him. Let him have it. My dad, my brother, we're all sitting in this little gully with her because we all wanted to watch her shoot her first bird. Takes her hat off to scratch her head. There goes the bird. And she said, Dad, I'm never hunting with you again because the whole day I kept going like this. There's a bird. But listen, man, we really appreciate you getting on.
Anytime, man. I enjoyed it.
I'm not going to keep you on any longer. The problem with doing them at 9 o'clock is at 10 o'clock, everybody's tired.
Yeah.
It just happens to work best for us. And I super appreciate you getting on. I love hearing your stories. I love hearing what I'm going to call your winning stories that you don't have to share, but you decided to. And I think they're fantastic. And I hope God continues to bless you and your family while you keep going.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me on, and keep in touch, man.
Oh, definitely. We'll send you a link to the game. I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you can't go yet because you got to pick a contest title for next week.
A title? So like a theme?
Got to pick a theme for pitchers. Whatever theme you want.
Involve kids or just any in general?
Anything you want. It's yours, man. We give you the floor.
Veterans first.
Veterans first.
A veterans first hunt, a veterans first fishing trip, a veterans first something.
I like that. We'll name it Veterans First, and then we'll just see what happens. I like that. I like that a lot. That's cool. So that'll be that'll be the new contest coming up for next
Sounds
week.
good.
Cover photo contest.
I'll be looking forward to it.
I'll definitely send you the link. Maybe you
Okay.
maybe you can share something if you got something out there with something, maybe a veteran or something.
Okay.
I'll send you the link, and we'll send you a link for the game. And again, I super appreciate you getting on here. I mean, it means the world to me, and it would really mean a lot to me if we could end this show. Maybe you could give a little word, bow our heads here, and we'll end with a little bit of prayer.
Let's do that. Heavenly Father, I thank you. I thank you for this Sportsman Show, Lord, and I thank you for the family friendliness of it, and I thank you for the opportunities that you've given to Big Sexy Outdoors and myself, Lord, and this friendship that's come about. I thank you for the connections that you've blessed me with in the outdoor industry, Lord. And I just pray in this upcoming season that we're all about to experience for safety, Lord. And I pray for your joy and your peace to abound in our lives as we enter this season. In Jesus' name. And I pray for mighty blessings over this launch of this game and over the continued success of this show, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you very
Man, I
much.
appreciate you having me on. I really enjoyed it.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm going to tell you good night.
Good night.
See you,
Thanks
buddy.
again.